community activist in the community that's out here, man, like, putting the real boots to the ground and whatnot, Miss Bourne. So, like I said, this brother, man, I met a brother out there, talked to him last night, haven't put it together yet. I just say the brother works at Crenshaw High out in California. I reached out to him saying, I'm ready to come back out there. I'm ready to get in the streets and do that work, man, for real. He just like, hey, look, bet, let's go ahead and plug that in. Let's connect the dots. So that's what we are for, that Miss Bourne thing. I told him, I made a post, I think yesterday, I said, book me before the end of the summer.
Listen, I was going to comment on that post.
Yeah, I'm serious, though.
And some in my heart said, let it go, because, I was coming with some real interesting response.
Yeah.
Because when he say that, he really means it.
I mean it, because I've been doing a lot of, I've been adding a lot of value for almost 25 years, and I've been doing it at a discounted rate. And it just took one of my mentors, man. He's in my head, one of my coaches. I heard him talking on the show.
You can't say the word mentor.
Jagna, one of my Jagnas, man. He's like my brother, my Jagna. Marquell said to David Shands one day on this show, man. And Marquell was just talking about, value. And like, if you adding value, if you bringing $10,000 worth of value or whatnot, how you charging the cat $500? You know what I'm saying? You bringing $10,000 worth of value. If you done pay somebody, yeah. But I want you to think about it. And see, a lot of times, 271, we be charging from the heart and not charging from the value that we're adding. But somebody else will come in who's not adding value, and they asking right off the top for $5,000, $10,000.
And ain't work too.
Not work too, but in their mind, they're adding $10,000 worth of value. But the brother who's adding $10,000 worth of value,
you want to know about?
Yeah, because I just know I'm for the community. But I do know this. One of my other Jagnas said to me, though, he said, bro, you've been doing benevolence work for 25 years. It's time for you to start cashing in some shit. So that's what I'm saying now, y'all. That doesn't mean we're not doing community work. So what I do in the community is separate from what I'll be doing my new company, Miss Bourne Thing, Walking with Walk LLC. So now the Walking with Walk podcast will be under the LLC of Walking with Walk LLC. Also, y'all be on the lookout, man, for Miss Bourne Thing. She pushing her brand out. We got a lot of exciting stuff going. DJ 271, man, is all over the damn state, all over the Southeast doing DJ. He with my boys, who was with the other day?
Which one?
Drew, was it Drew Hill?
Drew
Hill had Sip.
But
Trina, boy, hold on one second, Miss Bourne Thing. We talking about hot Atlanta, because you looking hot today. You looking about like Trina was looking, Miss Bourne Thing. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, she was hot like fine.
They're two different hats. I'm a thicker hat than she is.
Lord, did y'all hear that right there? I know somebody better get
your...
Boy, you better get your old lady out of the living room today, because this show right here about to get hot. Oh, y'all, if you ever had you a dog, they call it thick fudge. That thick fudge. I know Dairy Queen, we used to make it, y'all. Sometimes we have that thick fudge on there. And this Miss Bourne Thing right here, y'all. So just can sit back. I got to cut up because we got about, what, DJ 271? I got about 3 or 4 more minutes to cut up. We good?
Okay.
I don't know what DJ 271 been on them Newports. I was supposed to buy some Newports. God, I didn't know Newports called damn near $7 a pack.
That's cigarette spirit. That's why that's a habit.
Are you serious? Lord have mercy. I was gonna buy some Newport for a prop, y'all. I need y'all to get this. I was gonna buy some Newport. You know I'm always talking about, man, I get them Newport. Lord, I wouldn't go trying to buy that prop. I said, I might as well buy my brother 12 pack of beer. Yeah, the Newport called about as much as a 12 pack of Bud Light.
Good on them.
But hey, you looking good, man. I gotta ask you though. You know what I gotta ask you about though? Can these 271, can I see your shoes and everything?
Here we go.
Can I see your shoes 271? And I'm just asking because of a conversation that we had, a brain trust conversation we had recently.
There's nothing wrong with my shoes.
I didn't say nothing was wrong. I just want to ask a question about
you could ask me the same question that everybody else has asked me. But go ahead, because I'm going to give you and everybody else the live and the living color answer.
And this is not about, we had this conversation, so this ain't no antagonizing conversation. We just want to ask because when my girl walked in, she got the fly new haircut. I mean, man, y'all can smell again. Did we? Can we put a smell component on the thing? Like, is there any way, man, you can just smell? You know how women do, like elementary school, you scratch a little thing?
Scratch a sniff.
I gotta try this, y'all. I just gotta try to see if they. Ooh, hey man.
Smell like that good girl.
If any of y'all looking for a wife, I'm talking about that, dog. Hey man, you better step your game up. That's what we get ready to talk about. We talking about finances. We need you to better take this woman out, man, for a well-deserved dinner, man. We're not talking about somebody out here going to the strip club and making it rain. No. We're talking about, man, a sister who's gonna give you everything, a sister who's gonna raise your children the right way, a sister who's gonna make sure that your kids.
How many children?
Not your children necessarily, bro.
How many children you got?
Well, if you got more than 3 on your own, dog, let's see if we can negotiate that. We do 4. We got 4, y'all.
But you know, when you start dealing with too many numbers.
Yeah, well, you can't date some of my brothers. I'm just telling you right here. Some of my brothers you can't date because these boys right here, they already got their basketball team together. They doing it big, guys. So that's why.
As long as they take care of it.
Oh no, they take care of that.
No judgment.
Yes, they take care of that. So that's what we're talking about tonight, man. But what I want to ask you, what question do you think I want to ask you about these shoes?
So listen, my brother bought me these sneakers, y'all, and I like them. They're Pumas.
They're dope.
I didn't pay attention to the colors on the Puma symbol until yesterday when I wore them to work.
Yeah.
And everybody started looking at me kind of sideways. So one person was bold enough to ask a question.
That thing, the pressure just got on them.
That, are you a part? He was like, fam, I know you not a part. I mean, I know you don't roll like that, but
like what?
You know, I was just looking at the colors of the shoes. And I'm like, roll like what? He was like, I know you don't roll with the whole team. No. I said they were a gift to me from my brother, who is a part of the LGBTQ community.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
LGBTQIA plus. AI plus.
Y'all
Somebody please put that. I think it's LGBTQAI plus. That sounds right. That flows more.
Yeah. So no, I'm not a part of that community. However, I do support those who I love who are a part of that community.
Yes, gotcha.
So if that's what this shoe represents, and if those colors represent, if me wearing them helps me to support them,
yes,
I'm cool with it.
So I guess my question is, like with me, every time I see anything with a rainbow on it now,
I was in Big Lots Monday.
Yes.
Everything got a rainbow on.
So my point being, like right now, I might put on something with a rainbow on it, just like you. And I walk in this space, they're gonna make something. So that's why I asked you that, because everybody's always saying that rainbow is associated with that. So do people just wear rainbow colors? Like regular people, you know, like
a lot of people wear rainbow colors.
When we were little, we wore rainbows.
But now people are so self-conscious because they feel like, oh, well, I'm automatically going to be identified as.
Yeah.
And the bad part about it is, half of y'all that's scared to wear a rainbow are behind closed doors.
Oh, that's a whole nother show right there, DJ 271. So is that the down low?
Them the down low people. But my thing is, be you. Be authentically and be genuinely you. No, I'm not a part of the community, but if it means that I'm supporting my brother and those who I love who are in that community, then so be it. I'm gonna rock my shoes every day.
Can we talk about how deep this conversation was?
My feet comfortable.
Can we talk about how deep this conversation we had the other night? You know, we had a conversation where I think us three as it couldn't have been more perfect, y'all, for the Walking with Walt podcast family to be together and share some of our closest friends, man. And we were able to talk about some things, man, and we were able to have a breakthrough for us. The breakthrough was for us, though. We were able to find out some things about the LGBTQAI plus community that I didn't know. And I was saying to like one of the people who were very instrumental in the conversation, I was saying that, hey man, thank you for sharing, but the way you talk about it is not a way where you're attacking us for being heterosexual. Because that conversation goes both ways.
It does.
And this is a conversation that I would not actually really get caught up into on somebody's podcast the other night, because I said I want to be in control of the narrative. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. I don't want somebody to watch your show. And spin it and say, I said one thing. I'm still growing in my knowledge of like the community. And I do know one thing though. I got an example. Oh, we got an example. I'm just saying, but it hit me, I think, as an athlete, it resonated with me when baby girl said, what if it was a girl? And the girl actually was a transgender athlete who became a part of like the males basketball team, and she was just dropping threes. Would anybody be saying anything about that?
No.
I never thought about that, Ms. Bourne, from that perspective.
But I feel like they would initially.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be as bad if it was male to female.
But okay, we gotta get ready to take a break, y'all. We're getting ready to run up. We want to thank our sponsors, who are, man, when I tell you these folks are doing some dope work right here in the metro Atlanta area. You guys need to make sure that you're looking out for
Dream Big Custom Cargo Trailers located in East Point, Georgia.
Lord have mercy, man. If y'all see these things right here, we'll have some pictures coming up hopefully before the close of the show when we do our next break. Hopefully you guys can see some of the insides of the trailers. If not, we'll definitely make sure we have Michael White and Doretha White on here, the owners and CEOs of Dream Big Custom Cargo Trailers. Thank you guys, man. But make sure you guys follow them. How can we follow them? How can we follow them on social media? I want to make sure that we get you guys going. Check them out real quick if y'all can before we come back and go into part 2 of the show. Please make sure you go and look them up. And I got it right here. And here it is, Miss Bondi. You can follow them on Instagram at Dream Big Custom Trailers with the number 2. That's Dream Big Custom Trailers with the number 2. And I know DJ 271 is going to have something he'll post up there for you guys so that you can screenshot it or do whatever. But once you go and follow them on Instagram and you see what they're doing, I promise you, my goal is for us to be on, to get these custom trailers and do our podcast. I want us to have a side with just like the glass on one side. So when we go to the Magic City Classic, Mr. White, I'm talking to you and D right now, man. We want a trailer at the Magic City Classic. When you come out, Miss Boy, we got DJ 271 up on the roof. 271, we got y'all on the stage, dog. 271
up on the roof. Go on to get with Chevy and somebody else to go on to sponsor one of these good old trucks.
Hey, we talking to you right now, Chevy. We talking about who's the big sponsor for Atlanta? Is it Ford or Chevy?
I don't know.
Whoever's sponsoring Atlanta, we're talking about the ATL, how hot it is in the city. DJ 271, we got to pull him on this side of the camera. Maybe not tonight, but we know the boy goes slam, sham when he talk about the Hawks, when he talk about the Braves, when he talk about the Falcons.
No, not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
If anybody tuned into, we didn't do a show last week. We were just coming back into town.
We were at the cigar.
But we were at the Cigar Lounge in Fairburn. If anybody caught DJ 271's
outro,
yes, to that Hawk game, y'all need to understand this boy bleeds Falcons and Hawks and Braves and what, United too?
You damn
sure. All of the Atlanta teams.
Yeah,
runs through his veins. Yeah. He hollered so loud on that patio.
The folks almost gave us a citation. He hollered so loud. And he meant every single word. And that's why sometimes, you guys, we get upset with the bandwagon guys. You know, look, man, soon the Hawk went down 2-1. I had some homeboys hit me up. Hey, boy, y'all went back to the same old losing. Man, I look at these Negroes the next damn day when the Hawks come back and do what we do last night. Bro, we still in. Yo, we ain't in nothing, bro. See, if you still in here, man, this is just look, this right here, man, is a shameless plug for my little bro. He got these new Trey Young jerseys in the MLK. I got this out. I don't even know who this jersey belongs to, but let me see if it's my side, because you got to get it on the next order, man. It looks a little snug. I guess they might be assuming something about me on what this jersey did, woman. Yeah, we're going to go in up and down with them back on the shelf. But y'all make sure y'all follow Solomon Walker. I have 2 brothers named Solomon Walker, so make sure it's the one with the Lakers jersey on. Solomon Walker, not Solomon Walker with the 3 behind it. Now, that's Solomon Walker the 4th, but he doesn't have his numbers behind it. So make sure one more time, man, he got the Trey Young MLK. That's hard. He got the Trey Young, the Flaming Hot one, Major Pain. And then I just brought this out, man, because I've been waiting on the Hawks to get to a championship. You know how you got that shirt that nobody had this t-shirt right here. Yo, this one right here, nobody had this shirt. So for all the people out there who say that, it's just like one of those classic shirts, man. Y'all see it got the NBA logo on the side. But this like for the real Hawk fan. We got stuff, man, with Phil Negro Braves gear, man. We got stuff that go all the way back to Rafael Ramirez and Glenn Hubbard and Bob Hunter and Chris Chamberlain. See, we the real diehard Dominique. You are, Danny Roundtree. Like Negro Braves, you know, sometimes you mature and you don't even address them like, bro, you don't even know bandwagon. Because I can ask you to name the team that had Tree Rollins and all them on it. You couldn't name nobody besides me. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Well, we can tell you, man, like, we used to go down to the and whatnot and watch the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then when you could walk from Summer Hill down to the and you weren't worried about too much pressure. On the pressure you worry about it, get back in time before you get your ass whooped. That part. You know what I'm saying? That was the only pressure you really had, man. So we back off this break, man.
Trying to sneak in somewhere.
This one thing. We had such a great show, man, last time, man. I'm just be honest with you. Cool. I was looking at the show afterwards. 271, you killed it, bro. Let me just tell you this right here, man. I thought he was on something that night. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was on something, but I see he was on that focus. That's what you want. You know, 271 get them creative juices and get the flow.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this, man. I want to jump right back in. We were talking about relationships and financing a relationship. Our guest tonight, them Harleys, Trina. I hope Trina don't kill me for this, but I know Trina got called in a meeting. And this is the part of being a boss for all y'all ladies who want to be bosses out there. What do you do in a relationship, Ms. Bowen, when the lady is a boss and, you know, the business or whoever you guys work for, they need the boss to stay over, although y'all have, like, an important engagement or something to do. Does she make a boss move? Because I mind what a boss is. A boss is somebody who, hell, you tell your husband that you the boss. So tell them white folks you work for, you the boss. Now, this ain't about Trina. I'm just saying like how everybody want to be a boss. I'm saying whether that be the man or the woman. So why, how is it that when women make a certain amount of money in a relationship, once again, this has nothing to do with them. I just want to start out here because I know she's making a boss move tonight.
I'm listening.
And I hope that we'll be able to pick back up with them because that is the most boss couple I've seen.
Oh, they coming back. That's it.
They're coming back.
They coming back. They definitely.
I want to pull up on Marcus Harley anyway. I know Trina straight up ATL. She give a Harley hell. He might be room for the Hawk page, but you know, he do a lot of hating on Atlanta. So I'm not sure what he's doing. But Alice, I want to ask this question right here, baby girl, because only a woman boss could answer this question right here. If a woman makes more money in a relationship and she has, like, you know, I've been watching a lot of y'all say like I'm a boss and all that. Does she in her mind think that in a hierarchy, she is the boss of the family? What does that really mean when y'all say you're a boss?
I think a lot of times that's what's misconstrued.
Mm-hmm.
A boss ain't got an identity, ain't got to walk around saying they're the boss. It's gonna show. You're gonna bleed it. Right on.
Oh, well, I like that.
It's gonna come through your.
You see how focused I am?
It's like a thug. It's like I tell my students, a real OG don't do no talking.
I like that.
You can walk up to him, pop off at the mouth. I do this, I do that. Okay, they're gonna sit there and look at you and let you finish.
Yeah.
They're gonna let you continue to dig yourself further in the hole. They ain't gonna talk. Well, when you wake up within the next week, and some people ain't gonna start missing.
Yes. So it kind of like when a woman says this, like I tell people all the time, I talk a lot of stuff on this show, but I know you the boss of the show. Right, Brian? We know that. We know who the boss.
We share responsibility.
We share responsibility, but you the boss.
No. Now, if another woman wants to come in, then yeah, she got to stand out.
So when we start talking about relationship, going to what you said about how OG or something in the streets, they kind of talk about in relationship, everybody who really has been in a relationship know the woman running the house. I mean, I don't care if the man making all the money, don't nothing move without that woman pretty much co-sign. You don't think that's the truth?
To an extent, I can agree to disagree.
Okay, go ahead.
Because, yeah, the woman typically runs the house, but in you running the house, don't demasculate the man. I
like that. Because a lot of women I see, they can't accept. Yeah, a lot of women I see now, and a lot of women who will be on the side that you usually are. I think we got to find a way to come together in the middle where we say that, hey, sis, you still make money. You making boss move, but your boss move is like the tool belt that you use outside the house. You know, that boss conversation is not meant to be used inside the house. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Because when we come in here, I think we were talking about this too. That's our money. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm guilty of like saying like, hold on, just because she made this amount. No, when you look at it from a spiritual perspective, we know that you got the Most High, you got His Son, you got the church, then you got the wife and the husband, you know, that unit right there, and then you got your children, you know, and the rest of the family.
And so on and so forth.
And we know when we say the word submit, we're not talking about woman, you're supposed to be subservient to the man. I just wish people would quit looking at that word as, I'm going to say this, Alice, and then hopefully this makes sense. One time we went to our car, right? And I remember somebody saying like, well, you just let the man do all the talking and whatnot. You know, he can really get a car. Like, he can tell me, and I was saying to myself, if you only understood how relationships work, she did all the research on this. She knew exactly which one she wanted, how much it was going to cost, which, you know, if she wanted electric windows and all that stuff. When I went in, I don't think I did 271. I said, I'm going to tell them that we're not putting any money down. See, that was on the muscle in the thing right here.
But that's what happens when a woman goes to buy a car, especially if the male salesman.
Yes.
We're prey to your predator.
So, but you notice that what I'm saying is she was the boss in that situation, but we did it from a spiritual standpoint where the man is the one who goes in and closes this deal for the family. That she's done all the doggone work. And it's not about me saying I made the decision. No, she made all the decisions. You see what I'm saying?
So this is my thought process on that. Say we're in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Okay, I make more money than you. And so what? I'm not gonna throw it in your face.
Yes.
I hate that. I don't want anybody trying to throw anything in my face.
Yes.
If we're a team, we're a team. Now, you have a lot of women who say, well, he does make the money, but I do this, this, and this. Okay, great. But even though you working, you got a paycheck. If he falls short, you need to be able to step up.
Right.
That's in a relationship, that's what I envision a boss chick being. I'm your teammate. I'm not going to stand behind you. I'm going to walk beside you. I'm going to fall back when I need to. Yeah. And you're going to know I got your back. But you let that man do that. Uh-oh.
Hold on, y'all. Is somebody at the door? We need y'all to share this thing too, man. If you out there right now, I'm telling you, this show about to get heated up because we just got a surprise. We didn't know they were going to show up tonight, right?
Nope.
Hold on now. I guarantee you, Trina going to come here talking a whole bunch of trash. We about to find out about this women and finances. Are they on here, man? I guarantee you, Miss Trina gonna come in here. Because this one, I remember last time, Trina be talking that bullshit. But Margaret Holler was getting ready to leave Trina ass out there at that Studio Cigar Lounge. And she didn't get in that car. We ready for you. Because Margaret Holler was pulling off. That is another man getting that load and get a football across.
What's up, people?
Hey, boy. Hold it down. Started on good, Holly.
I heard somebody talking about me.
ATL. ATL. ATL.
So done already.
Oh, there they go, Alex. They here.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
What's up, fam? How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
Yeah, I can't say it on Facebook anymore because every time I put it as a hashtag, they told me today, keep on playing around, Wolf. They called me by my name. The man, it wasn't just no message. I heard the man voice on mine. He said, boy, you ATL holding 117 times today. That's it now. That's enough ATL hold. Harley, man, I just want to say, I'm so proud of you, Harley, because your wife is a real boss to me, man. But the way I saw you put her in check the other night, woo! I know she ready to cuss me out. Let me look at the screen so I can see how she's looking at it. You want to go for a holiday, Alex? I ain't walk out camera for a second. I got to get a cigar so I can show you how hard I did. Go ahead and get them started, Alex.
Listen.
What's up, Alex?
Hey, Alex. Alex, I'm talking to you tonight. First of all, I'm not talking to your co-host.
The holidays go real good, and they tend to go a little longer than, we intend on them to go. But it is what it is. And so what ended up happening was Mr. Harley said it was time to go. We were still standing out there talking, and he got in the car. He put that car in gear. He was trying to figure out if she was going to be in the car with him or in the Uber. So, we let him go. But the way he was so clean and discreet, he just walked, said his goodbyes to the people he knew, eased on in the car, had the baby get in the car too, and he was edging on out.
Did he just go get some books?
Trina, that's what happened. Trina talked to us. Said you was a boss the other week. And then my homeboy, he stumped the gas on you. We're going to get finances in a second, but then my boy matched the gas on you last week, Trina.
Hey, can you guys hear us okay?
Yeah, we see you good, Harley.
But can you hear us?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. You got to know.
Well,
hold on. Let's make sure they can hear us first.
Hey, Marcus, make sure one of y'all share this too, man. Make sure y'all share this. The one who's not talking, when y'all share this.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're ready though.
We can hear you.
But y'all can hear us okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Trina wanted to say she wanted to start, so I'm gonna let her ride.
No. I'm gonna let you ride on out with that because your boy done set it up quite nicely for you. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and ride out with that partner.
Well,
go ahead.
Let me say this: one of the prevailing philosophies that we have in this house is that even though I'm the head, she the neck, and the head don't move without the neck. So, so what you saw the other night at studio, yeah. Sometimes I gotta check her. I'm her pullback coach because she is a boss, and you know what? I don't hide her bossness.
Yeah.
Or try to diminish that. It was funny. I don't know if you guys watched The Chi, but it was one part in there where Papa and his girl were on a podcast, and she's a rapper, and her career is starting to take off. and he was kind of inserting himself in the conversation. Sometimes as a man, you got to step back and allow your woman to shine. Because if she's for you and she's with you, when she's elevated, she's gonna bring you with her. She's not gonna leave you behind. But sometimes men fall into their own securities or insecurities rather, and I'm not insecure. So when it's time for her to shine, I just sit back and lean back in my chair and just be like, "Go ahead, baby, do your thing."
That ain't what he say. He say, "Go ahead, cause you making all the money. So when is the next trip?" That's what he say.
I got expensive habits. I like to be well kept.
Hey, when we say they be them harlots, y'all don't know, y'all don't even know about hanging out, man, and like taking conversation as low as you need to take them, taking them as high as you need to take them, and then just be on that level, man. At the end of the night, where we just have such a great relationship with the harlots, man, that we need to take this show on the road, because I think one of the things that I want to jump into. Trey, you had a meeting today, and I was talking about you behind your back. Let me go ahead and say this.
Oh, I heard some of it.
Oh, you did?
I heard some of it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, but I don't make sure my son heard me talking about him back. But I just, I'm gonna say it. I'm talking to y'all, America. Like Bernie Mac was in America. I gotta talk to you, man. And Bernie Mac would have to say out like this with America. Now I want to know: is Trina the boss at work and the house, or is she the boss at the work? When Margaret Harley did this other night, this is why I knew she wasn't the boss at the house right here. My boy did like this here. Lay your head back. Payne, did he do this? He laid the head back like that. I ain't never seen a man lay his head back and sit out like this right here.
Look, Alice got the video.
Oh,
Alice got the video. The video don't lie.
Is this gonna take us right into it? Even though Harley says that she made money, they ready to go on a trip and all this stuff. We know we can joke with you guys like this seriously. But Trina, let me ask this question, because you really are a boss. We look up to you, man, and everything that you do in your boss capacity, and we know there's things we would not dare say because of, like the sensitivity of your position. But we also know that we can take it somewhere when we need to, as long as we don't cross certain lines. So I would go into the Harley household, because I know you guys, y'all are so transparent. Y'all got people outside of your household who might have a woman who's making $150,000, $200,000 a year, but when she got in the relationship, she wasn't making that kind of money, Ms. Born. But now all of a sudden, she with a different group of people. She might be an administrator, or she might be a superintendent, or she might be like the new partner at the law firm or something. And she now looking down on her husband, who was blue collar when she met him. This brother was always there. He's loved his children, take care of his household. So Trina, what happened? How did you manage to not fall into that trap? If some people call it a trap, but for y'all ladies out there, I'm not talking to the ladies who still understand the hierarchy of the relationship. But there are a lot of women who, once they make the money, Trina, they start saying they don't. I heard the other day, y'all, and then I'll let you answer. This lady said, well, I'm not dating anybody. If they don't make the same thing I make or more, then I can't date them because I'm a boss. And y'all, I just said that is like the downfall of the black relationship, I think. And I'm saying everybody's entitled. So Trina, how did you manage not to fall into that trap? Okay.
Well, first off, I think that you have to first understand who you are as an individual. And in understanding that, and in understanding just people and just relationships. So as you traverse life, right? You go through ebbs and flows. So where you are today, you might not be tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And where your spouse is today, they might not be tomorrow. But what's most important is who this man is to me, how he treats me, how we relate to each other, how we relate to our children, and how we relate to our family unit, because money doesn't drive our relationship. We are the drivers of our relationship. Now, I don't want anybody to be confused. Money is important because you got bills to pay. Yes. You definitely have bills to pay, but we see more money as an opportunity for us to expand together.
Like it. So Trina, did we look pain that you cut us off? Mm-hmm. Can Trina hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Trina, do you feel like then, I love that whole thing about money don't drive our relationship, we drive the relationship. I like that right there. And do you think there's a lot more, DJ 271, we talk about this stuff, there need to be more premarital counseling and whatnot. And I'm not talking about just going and talk to the preacher 2 or 3 times. I think that should be a whole year to 5 years. Well, y'all, you know, I say you should. Yeah, I mean, for real. Before people get married, man, you might get married to this woman, man, and her financial literacy is so low that you love her to death, but you know you'll be broke as hell in 2 years. I think they should almost have a 5-year probationary period for you to get to know, like, can this woman balance a checkbook? Can this woman, or the man, is this man going to be the kind of dude where every Saturday when the football game come on, he bet on every game, or this dude going to the bar and he buying up, you know, like all kind of shots for his homeboy, but he didn't pay the bills at home. So I think that should be a real serious thing. Because Alice, I think what Trina said about we drive the relationship, I think Trina, a lot of people drive the relationship together. They just don't drive their finances together.
So let me ask you this though.
Yes.
So why would you allow yourself to get to the point of loving somebody when you don't really know them completely? Because knowing that financial part is a part of knowing them.
Yeah, I think that's
now, unless they misrepresented who they were.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I think there are a lot of people who misrepresent who they are, because you might meet a sister, Trina. She's driving her sister who's in the military, Mercedes or whatnot, or her. What about the truck? Everybody like to drive that little BMW truck that everybody be talking about.
The G6.
Yeah, the G6. All right, whatever the hell it is. Y'all know I don't drive because I don't even know the name. So what I'm saying is, but now she misrepresenting, paying you in the military. My brother been in the military. You overseas for like 12 months. She right here stunned. All you know is this what you see. She out here in this house, which is her sister's house or whatnot. You try to raise your standards, and then when you finally feel like you made it there, you find there's been a misrepresentation. We know that's called, you know, betrayal and all that stuff. But I'm just saying, I think there are a lot of people in Atlanta, and I say this because I'm from Georgia. When I came back from Montgomery, man, I just saw a lot of fakeness going on with a lot of people in the city. I'm like,
a lot of false social climbers.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
What the kids call them, clout chasers?
Clout chasers.
Yeah.
False social climbers. So then with that, then that's just the character flaw. So that ain't their only character flaw.
Yeah.
Money's just a piece of it. That ain't the only character flaw there.
It goes back to the conversation we had on the last show. Certain conversations are a must if we plan on growing together in a relationship. I can't move to the next level of wherever we are, whatever we choose to call this, without knowing whether or not you're capable of handling the finances. Because what if something happens to you? What if something happens to you?
Yeah.
We still got to finish this thing.
I agree.
And God forbid we start adding kids to the picture.
Right.
We got some kids. We got to add some kids.
Alex, to piggyback on what you just said, a lot of people will invest their emotions into a relationship without investing their head as equally, or even more so. You know, we talk about love, but love don't pay bills. You know,
what's it trying to say, Harley?
What's love got to do?
What
say that?
love got to do?
I did not know
Right. Right.
Love.
But look, you got to sing that other song too. Ain't no romance without finance.
Oh, Dolomite.
Ain't nothing going on with the rent.
You're going into the book of Dolomite. Romance without finance is a damn nuisance. That's what Rudolph Ray Moore said. Dolomite, baby. Margaret Holly, you're more brilliant than I knew you were, boy.
Thank you, I guess.
No, man, that is really a compliment. You seen the Rudolph Ray Moore movie, man? That brother was brilliant, bro.
Yeah, he was. He was definitely a genius.
Talking about Harley. So, Harley, let me ask you guys this, and Alice, you can jump in on this right here as well, because you said that piece, and I think you said it well. I don't feel sexual if the bills ain't paid. I'm not attracted to pay the bills.
Because that's stress.
No.
So this is the second part of this thing. Trina, how did y'all manage it? Was it like, did y'all come into it with financial literacy? Did y'all take as a mentor? You want to call them in the church or in the family that talk to y'all about the importance of finances? What would y'all say to couples out there, and this including you as well, Ms. Boy Dick, people who are getting ready to the next level, or even married, but they're still booed up or doing whatever people do? What would y'all tell them if they're going to be moving into the same, space, putting their bills and whatnot, to keep their relationship afloat if they do not have some type of financial literacy or some type of budget or some kind of cash flow plan that they're operating on? Talk to that, man. Talk to me about
I'll let you jump in first.
Okay. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. So during this whole COVID space, the Amazon man is my best friend. I think is our mic muted? Can y'all hear us?
I think somebody mic is staticky though.
It said mic muted.
No, say unmuted.
Okay, unmuted. Okay. So
they're muted.
So during this whole COVID space, the Amazon man has become my best friend. Can y'all hear us? Y'all back unmuted. I think that's y'all's mic. Somebody mic is cracking. One of y'all mics.
Is somebody having a snack? Somebody having
that might be.
That's you.
No, I'm still here. Yeah, it sounds like somebody having some Cheetos and some apple slices.
Is that 271?
I think 271 got something over there. They're calling the static.
Yeah, okay.
But go ahead, Trini. We'll be good. Go ahead, Trini.
Okay. So, but I know in order for the Amazon man to be my friend like that I got to be able to pay for what the Amazon man brings. So I think that, like when we talk about money, we talk about relationships, what ends up happening is it may not necessarily be, it said we'll be right back.
Hey, can we do this, Trina? Because I know what you're about to say. It's going to be some real dope.
Hello?
Yeah.
Take away from that whole idea of what relationships used to be about.
So can I give you guys an old statement?
Yeah.
That still holds weight?
Go ahead.
Money is power. Period.
Okay.
People use money as power. People use money to control situations. I make $85,000. You make $5,000. If I'm carrying the bulk of the weight of our responsibilities, you can't ask me for shit.
I think I might have been guilty of that before.
I've been in a situation like that before.
Yeah.
And my thing was, okay, cool. If that's how you feel, let me just go on and pack my bag now. Wow. Because we're not going to do that.
I think that goes to marital stuff I'm talking about. If I come from a household where I've never even seen what marriage and how people discuss finance and all that stuff, because my mom paid all the bills.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I'm thinking my mom paid all the bills. You remember what kind of stuff she was having? Because she paid all the bills. Who left my lights on?
Oh, I do that.
Yeah. Because you do that because you what?
I do that now.
Because you what?
Because I pay everything.
So if you in a relationship, it's not that you trying to treat the other person like they're a child. But if you paying 80% of the bills in your mind, you sitting there thinking that's certain stuff. I don't do that to the other adult. counseling or whatnot. She come back on, she can jump in. What they see people do, not what people say.
Yeah.
So I like right now, if you had your grandparents there and you saw your granddad and how he
took care of them.
that's what I'm saying. So if
Okay.
I grew up in a household where I did that, I might say all I know is my mama who controlled the capital in the house. She said this my stuff. So now I'm not even being derogatory when I say it. I'm just the vantage point of that I understand.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask this question because the heart is back with us.
Okay.
But I got one question, and y'all tell me if I'm right. What happens if you are in a single parent household?
Mm-hmm.
As a woman, if I'm dating a man who cannot or show me the life that I was once accustomed to, hold on, let me finish, because it's a common comment.
Oh yeah.
You hurt your feelings because you know
I'm
and
telling
you know that because this is the father of my children, and he's gonna make sure I'm good regardless. You feel some type of still takes care of us.
Yes.
How as a man do you deal with that, or do you address that?
That would be kind of hard for
Did
me.
I say that right?
No, you said it exactly right. That would be hard for me because I come in and make sure that the line of demarcation to be drawn is where you and I are when you met me. I don't care nothing about like what happened with where you came from because
Right.
in that
Well,
case.
because here's the thing: as a woman, I'm not in your face.
But it's
But
almost
as
like
a man, it's a mental thing to
yes,
do.
yes.
So it creates an issue in
But
the
I
relationship.
think that goes back to what we were talking about with the harlot earlier. About how do you actually keep that societal norm from coming inside your house? Because I might be a man who's very confident with you and say, like, I don't care who you were married to, who you got kids by. What I'm talking about, it's just me and you. And I support that you have with your ex because I want you to support a relationship like I with my ex because that's how we keep these nuclear families blended in a healthy way. I think a lot of times what society would do is I don't give her, man, knowing that she's be married to such and such. So even though I didn't think about that at first, but now that starts to get into my subconscious mind. And then once I let my mind start to say, like, yeah, that does make sense. The subconscious mind is like the crew on an airplane. The conscious mind is the pilot. The subconscious mind is the crew. And once that pilot starts telling the crew what they carry out whatever the pilot said.
Right.
See, so pilot was saying, or my brain on conscious mind was saying, hey, I love you for you. I don't care nothing about what happened in the past. I don't care who you dated. But once I allow society or my homeboys, that's what I said, bro. You drive around
You
that.
know the home.
You drive around that same old pickup truck. You been driving around in there. Man, I want me to ride around in Lexus and Jags and live down here fed. You can't help but to hear that sometimes. And then I start saying, yo, what? Hey, baby, so why did you decide to hook up with me? You know, now you start having that conversation, and that's when it starts to spiral out of control. Yeah. And you might not have ended with those insecurities. They have a way of making you feel like you might not be sufficient based on, but that woman never said she needed those things from you. You might be giving her something that she never was financially able to take care of. That you can give her because you know we talked the other week as I moved the book, his needs, her needs.
Yeah.
So your need might not be financing. You might say, hey, bro, I can go and get me an outfit out of Ross. Or I can go out in Buckhead or whatnot, go to Neiman and get an outfit. So I don't need you to that point. I just need you to nurture my heart and make sure these babies, these actually around, are taken care of properly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think once we let our conscious mind slip, it's like pledging. That physical stuff don't do anything until you let the drugs get into your mind. You know, that kind of answers that question.
Y'all got some Harleys back on the line.
Well,
Trina was making a point before it went.
Trina,
Y'all,
we're not going to have to do what we did. We can start taking notes. You remember what you were saying?
Yeah, what I was talking about was that, you know, in relationships, of course, you have stressors. And so finances can certainly be a stressor in a relationship. So is that us scratching like that?
Yeah. So just keep going.
Okay. So in situations where, you know, there's a difference in perspective regarding finances, those are things that people have to properly communicate. You know, you have to really be able to say, hey, babe, you know, we got this amount of money coming in and this is what you're spending. And sometimes people aren't even aware of what goes out. You know, sometimes they aren't even aware. But the other part of it is just, I know sometimes, like, you know, folks say, well, like with Marcus and I, we have similar tastes. So we know like what stuff is gonna cost, you know, with what we like to do. So that's another thing. Like if you are with somebody and they want to be labeled down, and you know that y'all don't have label money, then that's a larger conversation. Because what ends up happening is those stressors come into the home. And at that point, you got to decide whether or not those labels are more important to you, or is your relationship more important to you?
Wow, that's interesting right there, Trina. So that kind of goes to that. And Trina talking about how you need to, like, how could you be with somebody that long and don't know about their expenditures and whatnot? Yeah. If I come into a relationship and everything you talk about is like the new Kanye's or whatnot, I gotta go out to Lens, whatnot. I'm about to go to Greenbrier. If that's the language you're using, there are already flags that should be going. That don't mean you shouldn't go there or you should have some nice things. But you got that speaking right there. That love language is something about having. I don't know all the love languages, but I know one of the love languages has to deal with what she's.
I need to know in this relationship, you can manage $1 million, or if times get hard, you can make $1 holler.
Oh, I like to make $1 holler. Hey, baby, y'all out there, man. If you can make $1 holler, let me just tell you what that means. You can go back on the home, man. Get you a can of vanilla sausage. Get you a packet of small crackers and whatnot, right? We can stress that thing and we catch the regular deal over there. These are the things we can ride through the whole week up there right there.
But like she said, you watch how.
Can I say something real quick, y'all?
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, ma'am.
The other thing is you have to know what kind of mind your partner is stepping into the relationship with. And so for that, I have a book.
Sliding over, yeah.
A framework for understanding poverty. See, Keenan, I told you I was going to bring out some books. Where your books at?
Trina, is that the one about the mindset of a wealthy person versus the mindset of a middle class person and the mindset of a person who's poor?
Right. You like if who you bring into this relationship has an impoverished mind, you need to understand that. Because you need to understand how that mindset, especially if it's not something that they've consciously worked on, how that mindset is going to play into every decision that you make as a couple.
I agree with that. I forgot about our deal about the books. I got all my books sitting on the table.
The battle of books.
But see, you had mentioned that you were gonna bring your books out, you know, from the basement and stuff. But since I'm on my own turf, sir.
Okay.
What?
I'm not, let me go ahead and keep talking.
What we doing? What we doing?
Go ahead, Trina.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
So listen, if y'all think what's happening, this is for the audience. We all in this loop. If you want to understand what's happening right now, Walt, every episode, if you pay attention, he always has a stack of books talking about based on our conversation for the evening. Our last two conversations, Trina been saying she gonna pull out her stash too. So we are officially going to the. Are we beginning tonight, Miss Harley?
Yes, yes, indeed.
Home library tonight, but she said she always keep her spares in the trunk.
Yeah.
So I need y'all to understand. Again, what's your motto walk? If you ain't ready to find.
So look, let me jump in on it. Alice, let me jump in on that previous point before Walton get back with his stack of books. So, you know, when you talk about coming into a relationship, see, there you go.
You know what?
There you go. When you're coming into a relationship, you know, it's not just about the physical things, but it's also the things that you hope for in the future. And you know, one of the books, you got your King James version down there at all. But when the Bible talks about being equally yoked, people have to look at that in all phases of the game. It's not just about what you're presenting physically, but it's also what you're presenting physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually. You got to account for it on all fronts. So one of the things that helped us out early on was we actually took a class, and it was after we got married, called Married for Life. And one of the sections it talked about was finance. It talked about intimacy. It talked about spirituality. It talked about emotional awareness. It talked about physical health, because when you're walking with somebody in a relationship, you have to be able to relate and be able to guide yourself, as well as being influenced on the ebbs and flows that come with life, both collectively and individually. So one of the things that we did before we got married, we had a lot of in-depth conversations about a lot of things. And
Uncomfortable
yeah,
conversations.
sometimes they were very uncomfortable. And you had to step up to the plate and put your big boy drawers on, your big boy big girl drawers on, and you got to do the work. You have a comment in the section.
I agree. People have to figure out how not to complicate the relationship. That's so true. And basically when we talk about those misrepresentations, when people come into a relationship already misrepresenting who they are already complicating the relationship, because now you're setting up to lie. And then those lies got to continue.
You got to keep up with the lies.
And eventually, when they catch up to you, the damage is already done.
So what percentage of, if you got to do, because we're looking at a three-legged chair right here. We're talking about intimacy, about finance, and about communication. Where would you guys rate finances if you had to chronologically those three things in order of importance?
I would say finances was it wasn't number one.
I would say 2.
Yeah, I would say it was like maybe 2/3. Because you don't walk into every situation with your wallet out. And it wasn't one of those things where I'm trying to impress you with the things that I could buy. I know we talked about our first date. I think we talked about it off camera. For us, I wanted her to know what was important to me mentally. Say it again.
What did you take her? I think this is that story you told.
I took her
I
took her to the King Tut exhibit, sir. I took her to the King Tut exhibit down at the old Civic Center.
Oh yeah, we ain't gonna let you share that one again. No, that's all right, homie. You gotta tell that because you gonna make it tough. You know, like you went all the way out there. So with that being said, how the hell did you put finance at 2 and 3 and you with your big
communication first?
Yeah, communication got to be first. Communication got to be number one, because again, you're talking about entering in a relationship. So if you don't communicate, how can you relate?
Oh, that's the dope response. Can I read something? I think a lot of people get into a relationship. Since your wife want to jump out here with these books, I gotta come out here with this book right here, Trina Harlan. It's called Winning Arguments. What work in politics, the bedroom, the courtroom, and the classroom. I think this right here encompasses everything that all of us in this room have. You guys are out here listening tonight, man. Books out here just we really serious about our book game.
Yes, they
we are so serious about this book game, man. That this thing might turn into like a game. I'm fat out here in these streets, man. If you book game is, you know how Trina Harlan book game is. Trina, take this out right here, Trina. You know I'm just talking trash. I love the book that you brought out because I actually have that hanging on the door of my classroom, and I in the language of an A student versus the language of a B student versus the language of a C student is similar to the language of someone in poverty, classes somewhere, who's wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we're referencing right now, you guys, it talks about argument, and a lot of times, I can't speak. You can relate it. It says right here, a lot of times with men, it might be swirling up the mind because there are a lot of men in this situation. They just don't want to argue. You know what I'm saying? They would just start shutting down. So listen to what this piece is like. The wish to escape argument. It's really the wish to escape language, which is really the wish to escape politics, and it's really the wish to escape mortality, and it won't. So I think I'm talking to a young brother today, man, about relationships, and when you stop communicating or whatnot, I said first you have poor communication, and that's why about communication. Then poor communication, less communication, and then less communication turns into no communication. That's something you and I were talking about the other night. So I have anybody to communicate with. I'm saying, well, email. If you wonder how people sleep in, it wasn't about the sex. It was about somebody being in this. I can communicate with. And then that conversation goes from conversation at first with the colleagues to more conversation. More conversation turns into great conversation. And it almost is a reverse of what happened to that relationship that people entered into for life, and they could not do it because their conversation was dwindling. So y'all kind of see like
people like them surface level conversations.
We maybe shouldn't use the word argument. We got some time when there's some pushback or some resistance in our relationship, but we got to be able to communicate. Marcus was kind of alluded to when he said they communicate. Did that make sense, everybody? When people listen, did that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, people like surface level conversations because they're easy, you know. And so when you're conversing with somebody on a level that may get uncomfortable, people typically try to shy away from those type conversations because they're afraid of the relationship not still being intact.
Yeah.
And I think that has more to do with the individual than it has to do with the conversation. Because if the relationship is that shallow, then is it really even a relationship at all? The other things that people do is they tell themselves stories so to avoid the conversation. So then they'll make up a whole story in their head about what they think, you know, the other person is thinking without even verifying that with the other person. And admittedly, that's something that I used to do when we first got together, because, you know, it was like coming out from being a divorced woman. I did not want this relationship to end. And so a lot of times I would avoid having those real conversations because I didn't want to argue, you know, or I thought that it was going to turn into something else. And then as I started to get to know me better and become more confident in who I was, then that means that I can have conversations with him. I don't really care whether or not they are tough conversations. If it's a conversation that needs to be had, it's had, you know, and then we move on from it. And the other part of it is, you know, I would say probably 97% of the time we get along. But that 3%, I mean, we two different people. So we're going to look at some things totally different. And that's okay, because I don't want to marry my clone. I want to marry somebody that's complementary. I want to be in a relationship with somebody that's complementary, but I don't need a clone. I don't need somebody that's not going to challenge my intellect and not going to feed into me, because iron sharpens.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
You say you heard your mouth moving.
What Marcus is alluding to right here, viewer says that people have to figure out how not to complicate the relationship. Figure out and understand what works for them and work on what works daily. That's what one person. Then we got some person who get ready to make a comment, but it must back it up. We got LaQuinn here, man. LaQuinn, I'm not sure if you still want to make it, man, because I know I've been around your family. A great family, man. Y'all are a great representation of the Black family community. But I just would like for people to know what you see right here with the Harley, man. They're not sad. Problems are they have had some tough times in the family, because we just had some real tough conversations. Like Trina, we talking about how you got to stop some different stuff. What are you talking about your children or your friends talking about your thing? And I think one of the things I love about
said they created this vacuum, so to speak.
And if you're not coming into our space and bringing some positive energy into that space,
You gotta go.
You gotta go. And I think I've been guilty of that. I'm just learning so much from being around you guys. I'm learning so much from having you as a co-host, Alex. I'm learning a lot from 271. I'm learning a lot from the OGs in the hood. OGs, when we were young, they weren't OGs. They were just some young ignorant Negroes. And I remember cats telling me, like, don't ever tell a woman you love her. I'm being real with you. And that always stayed in my mind. So even if I liked the woman, I wouldn't tell her I love her. You know, she would say I love you, and I would always respond with you too. So I didn't say the words "I love you." I would always say,
because you feel like she's gonna take advantage of you.
That's exactly that's how the older cats told you in the hood. So I think a lot of young brothers grow up, and I'm just speaking for me, but I know I'm speaking for a lot of young brothers out there. So that's exactly what you thought. So once you tell her you love her, she's gonna take advantage of you. So we'll much rather not ever say I love you. So if you do whatever or you leave me, there ain't no hurt there because I've already put up this wall that I'm not going to allow myself to be hurt.
But that's not fair to the other person or yourself.
I know, but that's what young cats are dealing with every day. When they don't have a Marcus Harley in the household, they don't have a doggone whoever that other gentleman is out there teaching them. So it doesn't have to be your daddy. What I'm saying is, I was raised in I just say in the country, but it was like in the jungle. Yeah. You were out there like a lion. You were going to try to prey on whatever you can prey on. And the one thing you weren't going to do is become the prey. Right. You're always going to be the predator. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you get to the point in your life, I don't care how old you are, I know I have some things that lingered on over into my adult life that now I'm able to understand introspectively that I could not have understood at the time that I entered into a serious relationship. Yeah. And I was dealing with someone who actually had parents who had been married like 45 years, so they never heard them argue. That doesn't mean they didn't argue. They never heard it. But I was coming from seeing like some real volatile stuff in what I saw as, a relationship and how men treat women. So without me going too deep into it, I'm saying that's some real conversation behind his finances, because a lot of time the brothers who I saw who did put hands on women, they controlled the finances, or that woman was not in a situation where she could just easily walk away.
Oh, that's about power and control right there.
Yeah, it is, Trina, but that's what
I said before.
That's the power dynamics. We talk about the money in
money is power in a relationship.
Power
and that's what people use.
So I was waiting on you when we had gone off. I said Trina can talk about some of this stuff from a counseling standpoint. Let me see if we got any more comments on here. Thank you for joining us, Jenny. Thank you for joining us, Stefan. Thank you for joining us, Marlon. Thank you for joining us, Shannon. Thank you for joining us, Browning. Mrs. Renee, that's my girl right there. Thank you for joining Cellmate. That's my brother, y'all. Jennifer, Renee, Christy, Revere, my homegirl, who we get ready to do some real work. All of these women whose name I'm calling, as well as the brothers whose name I'm calling, Trina, they are all in my immediate circle now in some way, whether we are colleagues or whatnot. And I can only fathom like growing up as a child, knowing this is like the group of people that my parents hung around. But if I grow up and all I see, man, is just like broken homes and communication wasn't anything I heard anybody talking about in a relationship. I never really saw it. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I didn't really see effective communication between a lot of people in relationships. Right. I saw them work. And here's why I think finances is so important, Harley, for me. I think why it might have been a number one for me. You get in a relationship out of poverty, right? Mm-hmm. And like you said, Alex, the significant other you got, they might have a father who they pay all the bills. They make sure that everything is taken care of. Yeah. So that person, if they're growing up and all they ever saw in a relationship, guys, that mama didn't pay no bills. This is what my daddy did. But as a child, you don't understand. Your daddy income is way more back then than the person we're talking about that you're involved with right now, even today. Yeah. So imagine you're talking about living in a market that their mortgage is probably 3 to 4 times less, with him making probably twice as much money. Do you see what I'm going with this right here? So now that man comes in feeling like he has to be Superman, when in actuality, he's never going to be that man right there, because all you know is growing up, my daddy did this. All he knows growing up is my mama wish somebody could help her to pay 1 or 2 bills. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So it's like even when you get ready to go into these relationships and you talk about finance, I think all of that has to be brought to the table, because a lot of us bring baggage in, and I think, Trina, that goes back to that book. If you bring a poverty mindset into a relationship, somebody else brings a middle class mindset into a relationship, there's some real serious conversation that needs to happen before y'all try to move on toward that wealth category.
Definitely.
Because y'all are thinking kind of like this. So imagine if somebody comes in from poverty category, and they're dealing with somebody who's in the wealthy category. It has nothing to do with love. Y'all relationship could flounder because that person does not feel secure enough to be with a wealthy person, because in their mind, he's always controlling or she's always controlling, even if that person doesn't feel that way. So y'all talk about that, man. How do we juxtapose that? Alex, starting with you, because you've been on that side. Where I'm not saying you like me, like poverty, but you've been where you kind of been on that upper echelon, right? And you had the finer things in life. So if I was actually out here in the streets trying to holler at you, and this goes to her question 271, I might feel like, well, yes, y'all, I'm driving this, or I live out here, in these apartments. But she can't be serious about me.
But see, this goes back to my disclaimer before we started this series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the typical chick that you can ask that question to.
Gotcha.
Because as long as you're able to take care of you and do what needs to be done when we come together, I don't care about that.
Gotcha.
Because I can't put you in a category with what I came from.
Yeah.
That's like comparing grapes and grapefruits.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
That don't make sense.
That's a hell of an analogy.
That's a hell of a grape and a grapefruit.
Yeah.
That's two completely different categories.
How do you get that guy though? Like if a guy know you, like right now, most people don't even know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
That ain't our business until we do a show.
Right.
And that might just happen to come up. But I'm just saying, what happens though when a guy who's just madly in love with you, he comes in with a poverty mindset. Now he didn't know he had a poverty mindset until he found out who you were married to prior to him becoming your new boo.
So that's a conversation that we have. This is where you are. Where are you trying to go? Because if we gonna be together, then we got to bring our situation together, and we gonna grow together over here. You have no business worrying about what's happening over there. As long as he's taking care of the responsibilities that we still share, since outside of what the marriage used to be, then that has nothing to do with you. Right. Your focus is me.
Yes.
If this is where we are, let's put this plan in motion, and let's make our situation grow over here. Because you never know what can happen. Our situation can be greater than that ever was.
That's right. I think a lot of times men get caught up in comparing what somebody did with somebody else, and instead of focusing
that's why you can't lead off with that too, though.
Yeah.
When you start leading off, well, I was this and I was that. I don't care about that.
Gotcha. But that's what I think Marlon meant when he said this right here. When he said, find out what works for you and work on that daily.
Exactly.
And what works for us is we go and eat at McDonald's or whatnot because we just love each other's conversation. Then it doesn't matter that you usually eat at Fogo de Chao or something like that because we can go there. We know we are stacking up. We're doing the things we can do. It's just something you and I have been doing. One of the things I remember doing early on in a relationship was like going and just get some hot dogs and some chili, getting a picnic basket, going out to a place called Lagoon Park in Montgomery, having some strawberries on Harlot, y'all. We had these strawberries. We had that real picnic basket. Now, I'm from the hood. Harlot, first thing I said, well, man, I ain't getting out to call that damn basket right there. Ain't nothing about that basket say that I'm supposed to be walking with it, Miss Boy and Thick. But as we did it, I felt like, wow, I've never even enjoyed the stillness of the country like I am right here in the middle of Montgomery. I want you to think about that. I grew up in the country, but I don't ever remember growing up in a neighborhood where it was quiet. It was always like moving like this right here. So people assume sometimes when they hear that we're from the country that we're from like Andy Griffith, Mayberry or somebody. It's like, no, bro, you come to T-Town where I'm from, Negroes are click-clacking and, it's like it's going down all day, every day. You know what I mean? So I think that is a whole nother animal too, that people come into relationship based on the regions they grew up in, based on different other things that kind of leads to finances. And Harley, I know we gotta get ready to go in a little while. I wanna leave you guys with like the last thing. Alice, toss him a question because I know you got a question for him. Just about finances though.
My question is a little interesting to me.
Okay.
What's your breaking point when it comes to finances? Again, you make good money, he makes good money. One of you all makes more than the other. So if there was a question about something being spent, well, why are you questioning me? It's my money. I make the money. Is that a breaking point for you?
All right. I'll jump on that one first.
Okay.
First of all, it's our money. This right here.
Great answer.
Can you see that? that makes it our money. If we doing that, my money, your money, then
that's a problem.
Then you need to carry your daddy last name. I need to carry my daddy last name. We can be friends if you want to.
I love
But
that.
so, but you're talking about.
Hey, hold on, Harley. I know you're gonna forget that thing.
Singing?
Harley, I know you're gonna forget that thing, man. I want to make sure Trina write that down. Can you say that one more time, Harley?
Look, if I ain't prefaced it with you need to write that down, it's a wrap. We're gonna have to play. We're gonna have to do the video.
But see, the thing is, not to cut you off, but you all understand that. Yeah. But this generation now don't get that.
Well, I would say this. I would say that their survival instincts and the way that they approach life that is different. But the founding philosophy of or the root thing that everybody wants to be, they want to be happy, they want to be safe, they want to feel like they're being supported. And whether you're coming from a wealth mindset, a middle class mindset, or an impoverished mindset, those two truths are gonna reign supreme throughout any relationship that you have. So going back to what you were talking about going out to eat and at the Fogo de Chow's and the Benihanas, I know that was big back when I first got to Georgia. People like to present those things. They like to present their resume because it can mask and hide the conversation of who are you really? Who are you really?
But a picnic.
With a picnic, this is who I am. This is raw and uncut.
Stripping out the mask.
Yeah, you're not bringing your representative. You're bringing your authentic self to the conversation, and you're allowing them to get to know you, and you're giving them the option to whether or not to invest any more time and energy into you. She may not like hot dogs. She may be vegan, but she may but she loves spending time with you as the individual. So she may not eat the hot dog and chili, but she'll bring her vegan chili, or she'll bring a salad, or bring some hummus or whatever it is that she needs, because she authentically and earnestly wants to spend that time with you, because you're presenting something of value to her that is making her feel safe and supported. And I grew up like you, Walk. I grew up, Baton Rouge. Everybody, we called New Orleans the city. In Baton Rouge, we were, we country. But, it was one of those things in my upbringing too, that, I saw that, men tried to protect themselves from being hurt. But at the same time, it was an oxymoron, because you're pursuing these women for what purpose? What purpose are you in pursuit of a woman? Mm-hmm. Is it sex? If it's just sex, be a man and say, hey, baby, look, I'm not interested in no relationship.
Look, baby, you know what I want. You're acting like it's that time.
She bring up that too short.
Trina is crazy.
Hey,
but it's the truth though.
So Harley just said something, and Trina came right in. I think people always say they want to be grown, and we're getting ready to go into part 3. I know we got to wrap this up, but I just see a lot of feedback. Valencia Renee Smith just said that you guys, I think Mark was right on the target. Somebody said, yeah, I live in the city. That's Jenny said she lives in the city. So with that right there, I know Harley, we always say, hey, bro, we about to go up the road. And we say up the road, we talking about going to the city. So, yeah. Trina, this was back in the day. When you go to Six Flags or whatnot, man, you might see back in the day, there was this game called Down by Law. So everybody already know, when you go to the city, man, cats up there, you might try to holler at some of their shoulders. So we got to be together at Six Flags. We don't know how this thing going to pop off. And I think that mindset that city country mindset. So a girl might see somebody from where we're from down the road. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, sometimes I think they just look down on us. Like, you from the country, y'all education might not be the same. Your school
it's still
not
frowned
the same.
upon, though.
Yeah, it's still frowned upon. But I tell people, until I became an educator in the city, oh, what a difference it means to be inside. Growing up, and I'm trying to parallel this to relationship.
Yeah.
Growing up, I just thought everything in Atlanta, because we used to come up here for half.
Oh, we lost sound.
Well, we made it a long goddamn way.
We did. Huh?
Okay. So if you grow up, people up the road, you know, and that's how this whole women like they just, so you hold on now. Hold on. You guys have always been like double minorities, and now you're looking down on that community. So it's the same way as somebody coming from the country. A lot of times they might be way more prepared financially, spiritually, educationally, and socially than somebody. But girl might not ever even give them a chance. So guess what? That started to build more of that bitterness, and that started to build up more of that me becoming a predator. So now my thing in a relationship might be that I get with. I'm just smashing. I'm not trying to be in a relationship with her, but that all came from
you won't be up for your mind.
That's exactly right. And I might have missed that woman who was meant to be my wife because of just like that way I felt people from up the road look down on us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of things I said. It might sound elementary to some people, but those that had a lot to do with a lot of the circle that I hung. Because we see it as anything other than a lot of vehicles. I genuinely like something on the level that we might, but we could not commit because we did not have those models in place. Because we did not have those models in healthy relationships. I just thank God for all my brothers and all of my siblings and all of my friends like the artists and you and everybody who's gone through whatever we've gone through. Because one of the things I'm learning about most of my friends who are in great relationships, they've been divorced. I'm telling you, so that means they messed it up that first go round. You know, we see like what's going on in the second or the third. You know, but a lot of times they messed up early on, especially though. I think Harley, we talked about it. Me and somebody talked about it. I wouldn't encourage nobody what's going on in you know what? I wouldn't encourage nobody to get married. I don't care if they're just know what I know now. I wouldn't encourage anybody to get married. I don't care if how many you love somebody. I think it's one to be you get to know yourself. You travel with your friends, your sorority sisters, your frat brothers, and all that. So then, by the time you get 30, you got a real job. True. And you got life experience. You traveled. You done a number of. You gotten a lot of things out of your system. You gotten a lot of things out your system. But hey, that's how I think we should pick up. After you said.
Let me say this. We're gonna let.
I think it might be all right.
We good?
So you say a lot of people can't handle the truth?
A lot of people say they want the truth in the beginning. Oh, just keep it 100 with me. Be honest. Be this, that, and the other. But then when I give you the truth,
you can't handle the truth.
Right. And you get sensitive. But the truth hurts. You asking me to be honest. As a female, I will tell you in the beginning if I want just a physical relationship with you or if I want to see where this can go.
I want a female to tell me that kind of stuff. Like if she a freak right off the top, just say we can be freaky and we can just, this thing ain't finna go somewhere. Well, hey, I'm a freak. I'll walk. I'm gonna still take care of my finances, but I'm a freak. hey, do that one. Alex just gave me something to think about. I might even need to start asking that right off the top right now, Alex. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, young brother, did you ask?
Most men can't handle that truth.
That's what I'm saying, Harley. But like right now,
most men can't handle a woman's sexuality if she's being authentic with herself. Yeah, most men can't handle it. But that's what Negroes say that they want, though.
Everybody claim they want that truth.
Do you want a relationship or are you looking for a situationship?
Well, let me tell you, I want this, Alex. I want you to tell me how good do I smell tonight? Tell me.
He smells great. I can't even remember the name of what you said.
It's called Oud for Greatness.
Oh, I thought you had on that Hakurai.
Oh man, hey Harley, I gotta wait. In certain seasons, you gotta wear that thing, Harley. Yeah, see right now, Harley, I done learned a whole lot about this fragrance game.
Well, you know what? You're right. It's hot outside, so you need to have on that cool water.
Trina, I need you to hear me, Trina. Oh man, hey, you know the Swiss Army knife here, Harley. I gotta take you through these steps, man. I turned Hollywood. Shouts out to my boy Lonnie at the Beverly Hills Fragrance Shop, man, for giving me a whole 2-hour session, man. We went through all the fragrances, seasons, the 7 different stages of when you wear certain cologne, how those colognes change up throughout the course of the day. So like right now, what Alice is smelling is $1 million, baby. That's what she's smelling right now. And later on tonight, Alice, this $1 million is gonna turn into one of the deepest, most political, most critical. I mean, you're gonna say, man, this man not only smells like $1 million, he has a mind and a book collection worth $1 million, Trina Harley. That's what she giving us. I know, but the cologne, it speaks. And this is what I say right here, and we'll get to the closing comment. The brother taught me about something, and Trina, being a boss, I know you can relate to this, Harley being an administrator, and Alex, you being a boss, you know, because you ran pretty much your empire. I know, and I did not recognize this. The brother said if you wear a certain type of fragrance or a certain cologne into a certain environment.
They already know.
No, but it says to your boss, though, that this person is operating here. And that person cannot work for me. And I did not know that. So he said that Creed Aventus that you like to wear, that's an everyday fragrance. It's an all-season fragrance. But a lot of people, man, that shit will distract them, so you don't need to wear that to work. And you know what? It is, because I've never sat beside anybody who don't say, look, sir, I'm sorry. What do you got on? I just this stuff I got on right now. Lady just stopped me in the store the other day. She said, I'm not trying to be funny, sir. I said, I know, baby. It's called Oud for Greatness. And I knew she was.
Is that what you said?
Put that Billy D. Williams on him.
You said it's quote 45.
Hey, man, I think we get ready to give closing comments to the Harleys right now. Harleys, y'all got any closing thoughts, man, for anybody about the importance of finances and relationship? And we're building towards the communication, which will be part 3.
I'll let you go first.
Can y'all hear us?
Yeah, they can hear us.
Hear you.
Come on, boss lady.
They can't see us, but they can hear us.
Okay, they can hear us. Okay. The only thing I have to say is with finances in a relationship, it's just important to have those conversations early on. Now that's not going to be your leading point, obviously, but you have to have those conversations early on, and you have to know who you are in relationship with, what mindset they bring to the table, and then how does that mindset mesh with yours. And if it doesn't mesh, and you really like each other, how can you work towards it meshing? Because here's the other thing, like you mentioned, you know, growing up one way and then somebody else growing up another way, you know, and I think that we grew up very different. You know, I grew up with 2 parents, you know, in the house, but very humble, who lived really below their means. But you know, my mom was a saver, you know, and so that's the way that I grew up. So that's kind of the mindset that I came into our relationship with. You know, Marcus's situation was a little bit different. So even though we grew up different, you know, in terms of, you know, what our family's constructs look like and what money situations look like, those were conversations that we had early on. And then the other part is we didn't get married young. So it means that we didn't, and that's another part to this that we didn't get to. We came in already.
He mentioned it earlier.
He mentioned. Oh, he did. No, I'm saying as far as how we came into the relationship, it wasn't like we came into the relationship very young and then we built things together.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I was talking about, Trina.
Yeah, we came into the relationship already good and grown. I might have missed that part because the sound was doing a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know, we came into the relationship good and grown. When we came into the relationship, I had a condo and a house. You know, Marcus already had a house. Wow. So, you know, with that, you know, how does that look in terms of what we needed to do as a couple? You know, and so we sat down and we talked about those things. It wasn't one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, this is mine and this is mine, because understanding that coming into a relationship, we were bringing what we had together.
Right. We said we wanted to be a power couple. Look, I'm going to do you a favor, my boy. I'm going to go ahead and set my own voice recorder. So just in case I say something and we miss it, I'll have it over. But for me, you know, I want to close with this. Love yourself enough to present yourself to whoever it is that you want to deal with. Because when you present who you are really, you're giving people or you're giving that person the option whether or not to continue or to go in another direction. And you have to be okay with that. Everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to love you. Everybody that you come to meet, you're not going to be in a long-lasting relationship with. We apply it to friendships when we say that people come in your life for seasons, but we don't apply that to our intimate relationships because we've been taught on some regard either you're going to be together forever or live that quote unquote fairy tale lifestyle, or you're not. It's it's the smash and grab type relationship or situation. Entanglement.
Smash and grab.
Yeah, smash and grab.
Here, one of our viewers that said vision, direction, and plan. I think she's referring to what you and Trina are discussing as a couple right now about when you came together. Or this could be her own. Valencia says vision, direction, and plan. Is this kind of like what you guys are alluding to?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because we said we wanted to be a power couple, so that meant we were going to combine resources and build. Like Trina said, in terms of housing, she had a house, she had a condo. I had a house. We had cars, we had savings, we had investments through our job. So it was a matter of saying that, hey, if we're going to be husband and wife, if we're going to start to form We Be Them Harleys, then this is the way it has to be.
People don't be trusting each other all the way though. Like people come into relationships, especially subsequent relationships, real jaded. So they be scared to like really just go all out with that. So I think that's one of the other issues is that they like a lot of people would not do what we did.
But that's why they don't get the most out of their relationships either. It's because they hide.
So are y'all saying? Can I ask this last question and then we gotta close out, man? We want to make sure that people want to third part, which is going to be communication. You guys have already shown that you are great communicators. I think one of the questions that I hear people ask a lot is, should you have accounts, or do y'all have one account where you just pay all the bills out of and one account that's just like your own individual accounts? Before Ms. Bourne Thick gives us her closing remarks, do y'all have like a joint account? Do y'all have your own separate money?
No,
do y'all encourage people to do
got
that?
several
What
accounts.
exactly would your advice be for people, especially young couples, when it comes to that particular situation where we're liquidating two of these, we're liquidating all of the property, and we're gonna like put all this money in one account? How do you navigate that as far as coming together, putting it all in one pot? Do you put it all in one pot? All in one pot for bills. And
my brother put it real eloquently earlier. He said, keep it simple. And it wasn't one of those things where, we got this account for this, we got this account for that. Now we did talk about roles and responsibilities in terms of making sure that certain things get done, and that was pretty much the beginning and the end of it. But just like we were having a conversation about, before we came on, it was an issue where Trina was like, hey, I need to move some money. My question was, what are we moving it for? She said to make sure that, we have all our bases covered from what comes out of my account. I was like, bet. I was like, I know where you live. I know where to find you.
I know where you work.
Right. I know where you
I know
work
his social security.
So look, you were talking about click clacking. So if I got to show up to the job acting crazy, no, seriously.
I know his government name.
Yeah.
I know his mama name, his daddy name.
So y'all really know each other.
I know his people.
We know each other well enough that we're still getting to know each other.
I love it, man. Hey, y'all. Let
evolution.
me say this right here because I know this question is for Trina. I know you want to say something. Let me go ahead and let you have this last little piece in there. Trina, give the ladies something, Trina, to help them feel comfortable. Because we're getting ready to slide. Give the ladies something to help them feel comfortable, not listening sometimes to all their homegirls and what the media has to say about a man who don't have this and that. If I'm a boss, I gotta be boss and all this stuff. Because I think the communication for most real men, it starts right there. Because I could be a boss like right now. Harley, y'all know this. I'm riding around in a doggone 98 Maxima. And people keep telling me, I said, no, I want to meet people who are my friends, people who are my colleagues, people who work with me. I want them to think I'm just a brother who ride around in a 98 Maxima. I'm getting ready to make some major moves in real estate right now, and I wouldn't decided she want to be with me because I'm a boss, to date me because I'm riding around in a big boy whip. You see what I'm saying? So Trina, give us some words of encouragement for young ladies who might have that perfect. They're listening to people on the outside talking about, well, he driving that or he driving this, and it could go both ways. I just want you to give it to us from a woman standpoint, and we'll come back in with the communication piece. 3.
Yep.
I mean, the bottom line for me is like, I'm simple. So, and it's like, I could stop worrying about shit too much, like so much. Like, I mean, really, that's the bottom line.
I love when you
like,
just say shit.
She did.
I said it. You know, it's like, I feel like sometimes we put so much stock in things that we don't get to know people. Like
yeah,
you are not whatever label you wearing. Who are you? So, you know, it's like, get to know the person.
Folks don't want to get
because
naked.
The point is, like, you got to get naked.
They want to get
naked. Strip it off.
They want to get naked, but they don't want to get naked.
You don't want to get naked for the right reason.
Hold on,
and you don't want to get kind of naked.
They want to get naked. Oh.
So I'm gonna make an executive decision because we're gonna be on this show.
Yeah, Harley, we gotta stop this pain. We gotta stop. Harley just took my mind somewhere that's strictly gonna go into communication right here. Go ahead. Put a pin in it. Trina, you got the first voice for next Wednesday.
Yes, Lord. Will be here on the couch with us.
We gotta have y'all in person next week. Trina, look, if you're a real boss, tell them folks next Wednesday. Hell, only thing gonna keep you from being on these couches next Wednesday is Wednesday night.
And Walt might make you do that.
Matter of fact, yeah, you can do that on the Zoom while you sitting in there on the couch with us. Go ahead, man.
I saw one comment I wanted to respond to though. I saw a comment that said, I don't believe in asking permission to spend money that I've worked for. We didn't say that. I don't ask for permission to spend money, but we do respect each other enough to know that if there's something major, that we discuss that as a couple. But I spend a whole lot of money, and Marcus just be like, girl, what you done bought now?
So Trina, is that fair to say then that people should have a joint account for bills and stuff just to make sure the necessities are done? Mm-hmm. But as long as you spending out of your side of the and like you want to, I'm just trying to make sure I understand it so people walk away from here with some point of reference.
I think people put too many rules around stuff. Like, you do what works for you.
Yeah.
Like we have it set up. Like we both have the accounts that we came into this relationship with 12 years ago. He know what he got to pay. Okay. I know what I got to pay. And so, you know, at the end of the day, like if he's short on his side, then he's like, hey, I need you to slide a couple $100 over here. You know, if I'm short on my side, then, and that's what works for us. Some people we have some accounts that are joint. You know,
I like that.
When you
don't even use those.
You don't use those.
You know, but
I think you just hit it on the head though, Trina. And Alice, I get a perfect segue. I think a lot of times people try to have, and Trina used the word construct. We have these constructs that we think everybody's relationship should fall in. Just because your homegirl who got married and her account, that might not work well for what I do. I know 271 is all over the place doing different things that he do well.
Oh, you know what?
The same way in a systematic order.
Nope.
You know, it might work good for his homegirl husband or whatnot, but that doesn't work well for his relationship. And I didn't understand that until I started being in these masterminds and being around people paying. You know, we talk about this all the time. Once you start hanging around entrepreneurs, everything systemically, you got systems that work. So I don't mean that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, like, you don't get boxed into stuff. Eat on Friday every 2 weeks. Then we're going to put all our money in here because life doesn't happen linearly. You get what I'm saying? So, Alex, I think that was a perfect segue right there, Trina. I love how you're doing what you're doing because one size doesn't fit all. Alex, set us up for the third part, man, with them Harleys on communication. And we'll make sure, y'all, we get y'all in here on time and get the people out of here on time. Valencia and all the people who engaged tonight. I want to thank Marlon who engaged. And a lot of you guys are on here. I know y'all listening, but we want y'all to engage, right, Ms. Marlon? We want y'all to listen to what them real stuff. They're real people who are professionals, real people who are middle class, real people who are, you know, and maybe some of the lower classes in our communities. But all of us have the same right there. Go to that communication. I don't even think rich people have struggles, you know, growing up in the hood. But there are some rich people who would say, bro, I would give my last damn dollar to live in a household. Y'all communicate with each other. Y'all love on each other. It's a family. And some people take that into a relationship, but other people think, well, I couldn't get to this person right here because they make too much money. And just set us up for part 3 with them Harleys talking about communication.
Trina just said it, and I can't say it any better way. Whether it's communication, no matter the aspect of your relationship, do what works for you, not what society deems as your homegirls who probably can't keep a man, or your homeboys who don't know how to treat a woman tell you to do. You all do what works for you in your relationship, and you keep everybody out your business.
Wow, my final word. What book do I want to go through to give my final word?
Well, while you trying to find your book, the bottom line is what the old folks used to say.
What is she saying, DJ?
We have been signaled like 6 times in the
Hey,
last
Trina, we gotta get off this thing,
up.
Trina. We said it.
Oh, Lord. Bill is free. Bill is free.
I don't know if Bill Cosby out of jail. I hadn't seen my home.
He out of jail.
But let me say this right here. Michael Eric Dyson said this. Bill Cosby lost his mind. I don't know. I'm glad to see the Jello man, because I know it would not be no me. It would not be a lot of my homeboys who went to college. It wasn't for a goddamn Fat Albert. Fat Albert was a daycare center in a lot of our neighborhoods and whatnot. Your mom put you down. You are Fat Albert in the get along game. I think Bill Cosby got some apologize. Got nothing about you, boy. Michael Jackson told you all I want to say is that they don't really care about us. But Bill, you got too high on the high horse, boy, and I know you had to deal with some brothers on the inside who you talked about. You were blind when you went in, but now you can see. I guarantee you, Bill Cosby ain't walk with no cane when he walk out that thing today. So y'all, that's it. All I say is this right here, Miss Boy. I'm excited about the. And I want to say to all of our followers, if you do what you ought to do when you ought to do it, the day will come when you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. And I think that is like the perfect phrase. Doing what you ought to do in your relationship today. Work on the communication, get your finances right, and make sure that you leave a little room for intimacy. And I think that right there, Alex, is a perfect
resolution. A lot of room for intimacy. A lot of room.
One more again. We're going to take our
Dream Big custom cargo trailers.
Dream Big custom cargo trailers.
At East Point, we definitely going to thank them Harleys.
Hey, gotta shout out my boy Daquan that cultivated for the t-shirt.
What he say?
So, want to shout out my boy.
He's showing his culture t-shirt.
Cultivated.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, do that one more time, Harley.
I just wanted to shout out Daquan for the shirts. Cultivated. I'll make sure to have his social media handles next week. Let's do that, Harley. Let's make sure we do that. So, by all means, make sure you do that, and make sure everybody, you go and check out right now I need you to go to Instagram right now. Look up Dream Big Custom Trailers with the number 2. That's Dream Big Custom Trailers with the number 2. Michael and killing it. If it's God's will, Miss Boy Thick, myself, the realest motivating eternal educator, DJ 271, we will be hitting the HBCU classes in one of doing our podcast, which will probably be a show by then, man. So until next time, y'all, we love y'all. Power to the people, man. Looking forward to us doing this part 3 and killing them Harleys. We out of here, man.
Good night.
ATL, ho. ATL. ATL.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. And they called him in translation. ATL.
You felt it when we were doing the show?
Dude, that's why I kept trying to adjust.
Keena, do you want us to call you? Or can we just stay on here?
Hang on.